Hello, it's JJ here. I'm so excited to be with you today. So much has happened since I last connected with you. We had a fabulous retreat in Jamaica, and the lessons we learned were amazing. I feel like one of my biggest lessons coming out of the retreat of Jamaica was trust. Trust. I had all my material created and I was really excited for the event, but I had woken up the morning of the day of the event and I got a message just laying there saying, trust the process, trust the process. So even though I had so many of my things planned and outlined, I have to say, creating space for what came forward was probably the best lesson that I learned because I had people that were there as part of the retreat that were offering to use their gifts and participate and lead some sessions. And because I had the space and I was told to trust, I really just allowed that to unfold the way it naturally happened. And I didn't get so caught up on my agenda or what I thought had to happen. And I have to say that the shift was real. Within a day and a half to 2 days, everybody on the retreat had a transformational shift. And we spent just so many hours laughing, connecting, releasing, and aligning. And that was really an amazing opportunity for me to kind of be in that moment and lead something like that and allowing the universe to kind of come in with the energies of Jamaica, the people that attended, and even the people that crossed our paths. So I'm really excited to share more of that. But today we have an amazing guest. I'm really excited to have Camille with me today. Camille Miller, she is a three-time author. And she has a beautiful business where she really leads with soul work. Her business of Soul Professional Business School is a place that she integrates business strategies, spiritual strategies, and her experience of really helping people lean into their life's work. So, hello. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited. I love your energy. I'm in a hotel room in California, so I don't have quite the great lighting of my office, but I couldn't miss out on the opportunity to connect with you and share the work that you're doing, the soul work you're doing with professionals. So talk
Yeah.
a little bit about what is a soul professional?
So we define the soul professional as someone who lives in a higher vibration, has an alternative approach to business, and is here to help repair the world.
Okay, so let's just break that down. So higher vibration,
Mhm.
do people generally know they're in a higher vibration?
I would say yes. I would say
Okay.
yes. I think they think that they walk to a different drum beat. They know they're different. They know they're meant for bigger things in the world. They know
Yes.
they have a calling, but they may
Mhm.
not know all the soul stuff behind it. But yeah, most people are like, yeah. So most of my people are like midlife, right? They've done other careers and
Yes, I
they've gotten to
love
the
this.
place that says, well, this doesn't really make my heart sing. Now I really want to make impact in the world. Now I want to do something else, bring a hobby to life, do whatever, or do what they were doing, but doing in a way that makes their heart sing.
I love that. I'm speaking at women's conferences across the country, and I've been talking about frequency and vibration and what radio station you're at. And you can tell in the room, see, some people really resonate with that, and other people are kind of giving me a side eye, like, what in the world is this woman talking about?
Yeah, I get that. I think ever since the pandemic, though, more people are leaning into it. They know that something's changing. And definitely this year, I just think in the spiritual world and the people I hang out with, there is like a rise in vibration. There is a difference, like a portal opening. Like it is very different in the world today. I can feel the energy is very, very different. And I think people want to tap into that. They're curious. And I love the curious explorers. That's what it's about. It's about being authentic, what I call authentic success, right? Showing up
Mm.
exactly who you are, because when you do, that's how you attract, right? We don't want to hunt anymore. We just want to attract. We just want people to come into our orbit, right? We just want it to be easy and in flow.
Well, I love that. But it's so hard to do because we're taught from such an early age to do, create, be, get there, get it done.
Do all the
And I
things.
know in my own personal life, I've really had to work to unwind that messaging.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, I grew up, I went to high school and college in the 80s, right? And women were just really entering the workforce and being part of that. But we were taught to be in our masculine all the time. School is taught in the masculine, like it's all taught society, and the success is all taught in masculine energy. I think that's
Mhm.
shifted today, right? So now we're bringing in feminine energy. We need both to run a business. So I want to be very clear. We cannot sit back and receive all the time without actually doing some action steps to create the business, right? Because business is masculine, but the nurturing and the collaborations and the way we approach it is more feminine, at least for me.
Mm,
Right. So that's the
beautiful.
soulful side, right? Soul is opposite of ego, right? I say, the feminine energy is your soulful, nurturing self, and the masculine energy, regardless of gender, is the ego talking. I. Right. So it's the opposite of ego. So part of being a soul professional is really leaning back into receiving mode and collaborating and just being a good human, helping each other rise, working with each other across borders. And that's what I really love about the movement. It's about purpose-driven entrepreneurs, micro entrepreneurs. Usually they're solo entrepreneurs or have a very small team making under $1 million. Many are making under 100,000 because all over the world, money isn't the same as it is in the United States. So it's about, just being a good human. With the movement, we have a pledge, and it's really about let's be a good global citizen. Let's help each other rise.
Yes. Well, I have to say, you heard me just kind of kick this off. I feel like, I'm in my 50s too, so I'm definitely in midlife, maybe
Mm-hmm.
beyond. And it's still, I'm still learning how to trust and how to work in coordination and conjunction with the universe. And I had to learn that in a big way this weekend. I hosted a retreat in Jamaica. And before I got there, I got a message or a channel message that it was going to be an activation. And I was like, how is that going to happen? But I did trust it and I did build a loose agenda from the beginning. But I have to say, like, if I didn't do all the inside work for the last 8, 9 years, I might have lost a gasket because we were so off schedule throughout the whole thing, yet we were perfectly on schedule. And I think all the inner work that you do with a lot of members of your soul professional business school, kind of teaches them that. And I think we have intersections in our life where we're being tested. Like, do you believe that you are working in conjunction with the universe? And for me, it was this weekend.
Yeah, I love that. Um, I think that it's because of the inner work that I did too, because I was very much in my masculine energy. I had a control issue, like I'm a recovering control addict, right? And I've learned, it's actually since my divorce, because everything wasn't on my shoulders anymore. I still had the kids, but it's a lot different. Um, that I learned to work on me. I healed, is basically it. I healed, right? So I could show up differently in the world. But I believe that the leaders of the future are the people that have done the inner work, and they're healing the world through helping others learning to heal.
Well, sign me up. I'm ready. I'm ready. That is so exciting. And, I was mentioning like just the activation of giving people space to vocalize what is on their heart, what is on their mind, what is occupying, their energy and allowing people to release that. So I know you use a lot of intuitive tools with
Yeah.
the people you work with to sort of clear the space. So what works? How do you know when they're ready? Like, give me a little bit about what that looks like.
Yeah, so most people that come to me are attracted to me because they have this other side. They might not understand it at all, and they've seen something. So 100% of my business is word of mouth, or they're seeing me, they're following me secretly, things like that. It just kind of spreads. And that's wonderful because that's the law of attraction, right? They're finding me at the time they need to hear me, right? So all of your listeners hearing me right now, maybe it's time for you, right? And then from there, we can take them wherever they are. So I work very specifically in strategy, but it's soul-based strategy. So it's not working harder, it's working smarter. we still want to talk about, you know, your leads, your calls, your offers, your messaging, your branding. All of that is really important, but it has to align with who you are in the world, right? If you don't like video, don't do video. If you hate Facebook, don't do Facebook, right? It has to line up with who you are, so you're reaching the people you need to reach, and that's what changes. So you had asked about the soulful side in when I work with clients, and my first thing I use is Psyche, which is an energy psychology that goes into the subconscious and can clean up the recordings that no longer serve us. Most of that was built before the age of 7. Some of us, like I had a lot of healing to do that was actually built in my marriage. And I had to work on that, right? Beliefs that are really no longer true or were anchored by my parents and then showed up later in life, right? Like being a wife, and what does that look like? And I had to unravel all of that so I can be who I am. And Psyche is one of the tools that I use to do that. I also have a very powerful intuitive team and a spirit guide that work with me. I call him Gus. I do think it's a collective consciousness though, but I call him Gus, for God, universe, spirit. And when I'm in session with a client, he's talking to me, but I can't call on him. I can't ask him a question. I can't use him like for my own good. Like, give me the answer to this, right? That I do not have the ability to do that. I'm claircognizant. So I have this deep knowing, and many times Gus confirms it. And it happens mostly when I'm in session with somebody. I can say, this is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm doing. So with all of my clients, it's not just strategy, but it's the psyche work, the subconscious work, you know, because sometimes it's a money block. Sometimes it's a worthy issue. It could be love, relationships, right? And they all spiral from something. I had a client that I worked with for a while, kept switching jobs, like everything, like big, massive changes. And I'm like, okay. And then one day we were in session and I heard it's her mother. And I'm like, her mother? So I had to ask and kind of bring that all up. And she felt by changing careers, she was not honoring her mother who had passed. But that was all subconscious. We didn't know that that was there. She wasn't able to talk about it, right? So it's things like that. Many times I work with a lot of like doctors and practitioners or people that were highly, highly paid in corporate jobs, and they want to go do something else in life, like completely leave their field. And I always hear like, but I can't get paid enough to do that. And I'm like, well, that's a limiting belief right there. If you don't believe you can be paid, you won't be paid, right? But it's about bringing out your uniqueness and your unique differentiator in the world so that you do get paid. People do respond to your, your marketing and all of that. So yeah, what I offer is like soul strategy. It's both, right?
I
I'm
love that.
a strategist. Yeah.
I love that. And I completely can relate to what you say because I get messages for people at time, but I can't like ask myself, like, oh, should I do this or this? I try to use my pendulum or my body.
Yes.
But I really get strong messages when I'm deep in conversation with somebody. And I think it's really helpful for people to have somewhere to turn like yourself that they can be so honest because I really feel like there's not a lot of space for honesty and to bring forward energy that, a lot of people have situations with other people that are really taking up way too much space in their body.
Absolutely. If you care what everyone else thinks, then that's a you issue, right?
Yeah.
You have to just let them be. It doesn't matter what other people think in the world. It's really about your joy, your happiness, your alignment, because you're not in alignment if you're worried about what everyone else might think.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. And I think a lot of people, I try to share this at different times when it seems appropriate, but like your outside reflects your inside. And I think a lot of people, that took me, that was one of my harder lessons to learn was your outside reflects your inside because I'm like, what?
Um,
That doesn't really make any sense. But I will tell you, since I've really worked on shifting my energy, cleaning out the closets, digging out, sort of the energy that I've buried,
Yeah.
life has become more joyful and the energy is more serendipitous.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I always say inner work creates your outer success,
Yes.
right? Because if you don't do the work
Yes.
on yourself, you can't accept everything that's being given to you. You can't receive, right?
No, I
That's one of
agree.
the
I
big
agree.
ones for me. Yeah, and it was really self-love.
I know. And we're not taught how to do that, and we don't know how it feels. And I had a friend that uses energy, like frequency sticks, to kind of tell
Mhm.
people where they are on the
Yeah,
spectrum. So my friend Lynette, she'd been in pharmaceutical for years in more of the numbers, the accounting side of the business and such. And now she's gotten into this frequency where she can tell you, like, are you off in your anger? Are you off in your value? Are you off in shame? And it's pretty telling. I'll have to connect you. She's lovely. And, it's really scientifically based on the frequency of your cells. And we are holding so much inside, so many of us.
absolutely. Yeah. And part of the Psyche work that I do is actual cellular change. Bruce Lipton
Mm,
from the Biology of Belief, he's a renowned cell biologist and the pioneer of epigenetics.
yeah.
He wrote the
Hmm.
book Biology of Belief and a few others. But he did the biology behind Psyche, that there's actually cellular change in actually all energy work, not just Psyche, right?
Hmm.
That your body is physically changing. And I always tell clients when they come to me, you are going to be wiped out the rest of the day. Drink a lot of water, give yourself rest, because there's a lot of change happening and it has to integrate. But that's part of what energy healing is. It's clearing those cells so you can vibrate a little higher.
So I want to ask you kind of what do you uncover is what are more of the themes of the people? And I know everyone's different, but is it more money? Is it more self-confidence? And then what are you seeing on the other side? When people start working with you, you help them clear some major themes. And then on the other side, what are you seeing?
What is it happens?
Yeah.
So worthiness is probably the biggest, which encompasses self-love, right? Love. There's money blocks, but that usually comes from worthiness, right? Prosperity is usually worthiness. So I would say the number one thing, worthy. I'm not worthy of, or people don't do it that way, right? That's fitting in, that's believing society. Um, that's number one. And how we see it on the other side, the business side, is usually once we start to clear these blocks, people start to make way more money, right? Or there's so much that they've learned. Like I'm only worth $20 an hour because when they were a cashier or working in corporate, whatever it was, they equate that to what they're doing now, and that's not how it works, right? It's very different when you're working on your own because you're not working every hour of the day, right? You or increasing your pricing. So sometimes we have to work on what we call earning ceilings, right? What your body believes and your subconscious, in turn your body, believes you are worthy of earning. So I worked with a client that had consistent six figures. So hit six figures. It was like 100,000, 112, 123, but couldn't break that same cycle. Right. And then I felt like it was like self-sabotage. We'd bring back down. Like, how do we do that? And it was an earning ceiling thing. And we use Psyche to push up that earning ceiling so they can put out bigger proposals. 20, 30,000, $50,000 clients were coming in at that point, and you could take a few of them because your body subconsciously believed that you were worthy of it. Comes down to worth again. So that's some of the things that I've seen. And it's remarkable. And I do it on myself too when I'm in a slump. I don't try to work harder. I take time off and say, what do I have to work on right now? Because it's obviously coming from me and my vibration.
I love this. I love this. So, can you talk a little bit about the Soul Professional Business School? Because if this is resonating with people, like what is the next steps? Knowing your links are below, but like how can they work with you? Because I feel like people
Yeah.
listening to this will be like, oh, I think I need that.
Yeah. So a great way to start is our online stuff because it's very inexpensive. Um, I have a whole online, it's not large, but I have something called Corporate to Calling. And that's it's a whole month of videos from me and journal prompts. And it actually starts to blend what's possible in a business for you. Just being, it kind of, it kind of takes an accounting of your skills, who you want to help in the world, what brings joy to you, right? And over the 4 weeks. So that's an amazing one, really inexpensive. The Soul Professional Business School is right now, it's me. My signature class is called my Business Accelerator and Mentorship Program, and it's taking a concept all the way to launch. So if you say, I have lots of like teachers and coaches and doctors and lawyers and all these people coming in going, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what's capable of it. Right. Or they've been in business maybe a year or two, but it's not really taking off. They don't know how to run a business. That's that program. I'm a former MBA professor. So I teach the MBA curriculum week by week, and we're applying it to your business. So even at the end or 10 years from now, you decide this isn't the business for me, you still have all of the skills that you need in the business education. And I do teach that along the way, like you will grow. And in 2 years, this is what it's going to look like. In 3 years and 5 years, because you're a different person. So you're going to attract different people. The difference is with this curriculum, it's really blended in soul. The soul strategy comes through everything. I have something called a soul professional method, and it's 5 pillars that we're taking people through. But the first is identifying your uniqueness in the world. Because when you're so unique, there is no competition. And really getting people to believe how special they are is a big part of it. And learning how to use your intuition and your guides. We do that in, I think, this first week or second week. I think I give the homework the first week to send them home, and then the second week. So, but we do the actual MBA education too. So I don't believe that there's anything else like it in the world. It's pretty incredible. We've had amazing results. I bring people through in very small cohorts because I'm working with you myself. And you could work with me individually too as we go through that. So there's a regular option, there's a VIP option. Everyone that's gone through it though has gone through with the VIP option. So, but without that, it's cheaper and you still get a fabulous education. So yeah.
I would love to see you in every college across the world or every online college. If we could create soul professionals everywhere, soul professionals, how different the world would be.
Well,
This is
that's
amazing.
the whole idea of the movement. The soul professional movement is about that. And we network, and I do free master classes. And on my YouTube channel, there are free basic business classes. You can do
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
I think this is perfectly timed for people who listen to this podcast, because I know there's some that are looking to shift or change or leap out of. So I'm so excited to bring your gifts to people that listen to Together We Seek podcast. I feel like the work that you do, I know some of your clients, and you can definitely see the shift. And I'm just so honored that you leaned into your gifts, right? That you were teaching master's programs, and then you've learned how to integrate the soul piece, to use the intuition and all of these awesome energy tools to really create a well-rounded program that takes somebody from like grassroots up through them. Not that it's happening outside of them, but it's coming through them and emerging like a tree. So this is amazing. Thank you for joining me. I love this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to staying in touch. And for any of you that feel called to this, check out the links below, join a cohort, take some of the online classes, get into the VIP program. We need more soul professionals. So I'm so glad that you joined us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.